My beloved brothers and sisters, there are times when life tightens around you, when you look at your bills, your rent, your responsibilities, and you wonder, how am I going to make it? You apply for jobs, no response. You give your best effort, no breakthrough. You do everything right, but the money just doesn't stretch. And in those moments, the heart begins to panic. The mind begins to overthink. And Shaitan begins to whisper, no one is helping you. You're all alone. But let me tell you something that brings peace to the heart. Provision does not come from people, it comes from Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, you see, people are only the means. They are the delivery system, not the source. Yes, you may earn through a job, you may be paid by a client, you may receive help from a friend or family member, but the truth is those people are not your providers. They are simply the doors through which your provision is delivered. The one who opens those doors is Allah, and if He wills, He can open another door in a second from where you least expect it. Your job is not the source, your salary is not the source, your business, your education, your networking, all of these are efforts and they are important. But the one who places barakah in those efforts or removes it is Ar-Razzaq, the one who provides with wisdom, justice and mercy. And the most beautiful part, His provision is not dependent on the economy. It's not limited by inflation. It's not affected by recessions or market crashes or industry layoffs. Allah is independent of all of that. Let's pause and reflect when you were a baby, completely helpless, unable to speak, walk or earn anything. Who provided for you? You didn't fill out applications. You didn't attend interviews. You didn't know how to budget or manage money. But somehow, you had food, warmth, protection and love. Your parents were just the carriers of that provision. But the source always was Allah. He cared for you when you were too young to ask for help. He sustained you before you knew His name. He looked after your needs when you didn't even understand what needs were. So now that you are older, now that you are aware, now that you are working and striving and worrying, do you think He will stop caring for you now? Why would Ar-Razzaq provide for you in your most helpless state and then leave you now that you're trying your best? Why would He abandon you after carrying you through so many storms before? Why would He look at your effort, your prayers, your pain and turn away? He wouldn't. And He doesn't. He hasn't changed. He hasn't run out and He hasn't forgotten you. He is not like human beings who grow tired of giving, who turn away when you ask too much, who make you feel guilty for needing help. Allah gives and He loves to give. He gives to those who worship Him and He gives to those who don't. He provides for the believer and the disbeliever. He feeds the bird in the sky, the fish in the sea, and the ant beneath the ground. So do you think He will forget about you, the one who prays to Him in the middle of the night? The one who cries out to Him in sujood? The one who whispers His name while fighting back tears? Never. Allah does not abandon His servants. But sometimes, and this is important, sometimes He delays the provision to teach you trust, to remind you that He is not a transaction, He is not a vending machine where you put in a dua and expect instant results. No, He is your Lord. And He knows not just what to give, but also when to give it and how to give it in a way that won't harm your heart or your akhirah. Because sometimes we want something desperately, a raise, a job, a loan, a sale, a marriage, and we think, if I just had this, everything would be better. But Allah knows that if He gave it to you right now, it might distract you, break you or pull you away from Him. So He withholds it not to punish you but to protect you. And when the time is right, He opens the doors so effortlessly, sometimes in ways you never imagined, and your heart will whisper, now I understand. This is why He made me wait. So trust in Him. Don't tie your heart to the means. Tie it to the one who controls the means. Don't panic when one door closes, because Ar-Razzaq doesn't need doors. He only says be, and it is. My dear brothers and sisters, it's easy to become consumed by worry. We worry about our future. We worry about how we'll pay the bills next month. We worry about whether our efforts are enough, whether our dreams will come true, whether we're falling behind. But let me remind you of a truth that is so simple and yet so powerful. Your rizq, your provision was already written for you long before you ever opened your eyes to this world. Before your name was ever known to people, before you took your first breath, before you ever walked or worked or prayed, your share of sustenance was decreed by the one who created you. When you were still in the womb of your mother, before your heart started beating, the angels were already recording it. How long you would live, what you would earn, and what you would receive in this life. Subhanallah, before you ever made a decision, before you could make a single move, Allah had already planned everything you would need and everything you would have. And now you're living within that plan. You're not late. You're not missing what was meant for you. You're not behind. Sometimes we panic because we think we're not achieving what we should. We compare ourselves to others and wonder why they seem more successful, more stable, more blessed. But what we forget is that Allah doesn't distribute provision based on effort alone. He distributes it based on His wisdom. That doesn't mean we don't strive. We absolutely should. Islam teaches us to work hard, to seek halal income, to pursue excellence in whatever we do. But alongside that striving, we must carry a deep, unshakable belief. Whatever is written for me will reach me. And whatever is not written for me will never reach me, even if it's right in front of me. You may have experienced this in your own life already. Have you ever had an opportunity slip right through your fingers, despite being qualified, prepared, and hopeful, and later you realized it wasn't right for you, that something better was waiting just around the corner? That's Allah's way of protecting you from what your heart wanted, but your soul didn't need. And the opposite is true too. Sometimes out of nowhere, doors open that you never even knocked on. You receive help from places you didn't expect. Someone remembers you for a job, a contract, or a kind gesture, and it changes your entire situation. That wasn't your effort alone. That was the qadr of Allah unfolding at exactly the right time. So instead of waking up every day with anxiety in your chest, try waking up with trust in your heart. Tell yourself, what is written for me is already mine. I just need to walk toward it with faith, effort, and patience. And here's something beautiful. What is written for you won't go to anyone else. No one can take your rizq. No one can block it. No one can compete with what Allah has custom written for your journey. So instead of rushing the plan, surrender to it. Instead of doubting your path, walk it with trust. And instead of obsessing over what you lack, thank Allah for what you've already received, because it was written just for you. This mindset brings peace. It brings focus. It brings contentment. It reminds you that your value is not in how much you earn or how many digits are in your account, but in how much trust you place in the one who never stops providing. If your provision was written before you were born, then every day you are alive is simply the unfolding of that plan. You're not out here creating your sustenance from nothing. You're simply collecting what Allah has already decreed for you. And what a peaceful realization that is. Because it means you don't have to chase rizq in desperation. You don't have to exhaust your soul trying to force outcomes that aren't meant for you. You work hard, Yes, but you do it with serenity in your heart. You strive with excellence, but you do it without fear, because you understand you are moving through what was already written, not competing for something uncertain. This understanding softens your heart. You no longer panic when something slips away, because you know if it wasn't written for you, it couldn't have stayed, no matter how hard you tried to hold on to it. You no longer envy someone else's success, because you realize what's written for them doesn't reduce what's written for you. You no longer obsess over why a door didn't open, because you trust Allah only with holes when He knows the door leads somewhere your soul doesn't belong. And even more, you stop attaching your sense of worth to your wealth. You stop thinking, if I don't earn as much, I'm less valuable. You stop feeling shame when your income is small, or your business is struggling, or your job isn't as glamorous as others, because you realize your rizq is not a reflection of your status in this world. It is a reflection of Allah's unique plan for your soul. Some people are tested with excess, some are tested with scarcity, some are given early, some are given later, some are given much but it comes with arrogance, others are given little but it comes with gratitude. And the one who is grateful in little is richer than the one who is greedy in abundance. So don't measure your success by how much you have in your hands. Measure it by how much peace you carry in your heart. And how do you achieve that peace? By trusting that your rizq is not something you earn alone. It's something you walk toward with faith, while Allah brings it toward you with wisdom. You put in the effort. Of course, Islam is not a passive faith, but you don't let anxiety eat away your sleep. You don't let greed harden your heart. You don't let impatience poison your gratitude, because you know my job is to walk and Allah's job is to deliver. When you truly understand that your provision was written before you were even born, something powerful begins to shift inside you. You stop chasing money with desperation and you start seeking barakah, blessing in what you already have. You begin to realize that the key to peace is not having more, it's having enough, with contentment in your heart. You begin to see that rizq is not just about the number in your bank account, it's about how far that number takes you, how much peace it brings you, and whether it draws you closer to your Creator or